Vision Radio.
Welcome to Caribbean Mystics Podcast,
where we marry mysticism, superstition, and lore. I'm your host, Paulina.
And I'm your host, Gabrielle, and we are your resident Caribbean Mystics.
Join us today as we explore the depths of real supernatural stories
told by real people located right in our very own backyard. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Caribbean Mystics Podcast.
Hey, and this is Paulina here.
Oh my God, LOL, I'm Gabrielle.
Right?
Well,
We
I
always
know.
introduce ourselves.
I'm just like, how long have we been doing this? I should have this like down pat already.
Yeah.
So
You
today's
should.
episode, I know. Today's episode is a little bit different in that we don't have a story and we don't have a lore. We are here to give you guys some updates about the podcast and some of the shifts and changes coming at the beginning of the year. As well as to kind of connect with you guys because last episode was a couple of stories that we actually didn't have a discussion for. I feel like we had two stories this month that we didn't have discussions for. And so it's nice to be able to like circle back and connect with you guys when possible.
Yeah, and I also feel like this will be kind of like a wrap up of this season since we're entering the new year. And season 5, I'm assuming. Maybe that's how we'll do it, right?
Oh my
Like every
gosh,
year is another season.
that's such a good idea. Where like January, so in January
Yeah.
we'll have more episodes.
So
But
it
that's a good
actually makes
idea.
sense.
Oh
But
my
it makes sense because
gosh.
like we always had a wrap up at the end of every season.
Yeah,
So I guess this could be considered like a little wrap up with
correct.
updates, fan
So I guess
mail,
in two
and
weeks,
whatever
season
else you
five
want to
starts.
talk about.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 weeks from now, season five starts. But for the next 2 weeks after this, so like Christmas week, New Year's week, we are taking a short hiatus because it's the holidays, and I just always feel like people are with their family and aren't as tuned in. And then it also gives us a much needed break from the weekly posting.
Yeah, same. So, I mean, I don't even know where to start, but
Yeah.
I guess should we just break it down?
Yeah. Okay. I think we pull the band-aid off. And I don't want you to
Okay.
feel blindsided, but I was thinking about letting you, um, bring it
Okay.
up however you see fit.
Did you see how I was trying to like push it on you? I'm like, maybe you can bring.
Oh,
That's
I
okay
don't,
though. I'll
I
bring it
don't
up. It's
mind.
totally
Okay,
fine.
good, good, good. I want you to be able to like
Well,
control a narrative, through your
I guess,
own.
sometimes I get anxiety and then I just start mumbling and then just word vomit. And then I say, like, I'm like, oh, that's came out awful. So, yeah, let's just rip the band aid off. Guys, this is going to be my last and final episode on Caribbean Mystics. This is where the soundboard would come in handy. Be like,
I know.
oh.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, it's my last episode. I've kind of made the decision to step away from CM because as much as I love it, me and Gabby have been doing this for a few years now. And yeah, a long time, which in Paulina's world, that's like century long
Hmm.
because I tend to fly from project to project and that's just in my nature. And I just want to be able to, I just want space to do more things that are coming to me, work on some projects and ideas that I have in mind. And um, I just wanted to step away from Caribbean Mystics, sadly, but I'm being called to pursue some other avenues. And so Gabby here will be holding the torch solo for a while. I mean, who knows? Maybe another partner will come through, but, you know,
Yeah.
Gabby, she's a strong girl. She can hold that on her own. She has a lot going on too. But she's going to continue the show and provide you amazing stories and entertainment, and for the sake of the digital time capsule of these Caribbean stories that have been passed down, and we want to record and create a keepsake of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy to have been part of this journey, especially with you, Gabby. And I'm excited to see what will come of it in the future. And who knows, maybe in the future I'll come on as a surprise and be like, "Hey, how are you guys? How's it going over here?" Like
Oh, guys, I
it's
had
been
to
a
bring in
while.
the friendly neighborhood skeptic for this episode. Yeah, I would love for guest appearances and stuff. And also
Guys, visit.
I think there is a level of courage that I think walking away from something like this takes. Um, in that I think sometimes when we are not feeling lit up anymore, or it's no longer feeling in alignment, that we just hold on, because holding on is what we're kind of taught to do, like rough it, stick it out. And I think that there's a way where holding on is often to our detriment when we know that it is no longer serving us. And so I think kudos to you for actually being able to identify the inner voice inside and to have the courage to listen to the inner voice and be like, oh my gosh, maybe it is time to like shift gears, to pivot. Um, and so, yeah, like shout out to you too for having the courage to be able to like know what it is you're craving and and be able to like decide that I'm going to follow that craving.
You put it in such a nice way. Thank you. 'Cause,
Of
I truly
course.
feel awful. I wish sometimes I was like a normal person that can, you know, stick to things for long periods of time. Like, but I find that for my special kind of brain, it likes to fly around, and that's just I'm like a slave to my soul. So I have to
Have you
honor
ever
it.
have you ever done human design? Because I
No, what's
feel
that?
like so human design is like it is an what's a good way? It's like a modality that it's another way of discovering who you are and understanding more deeply why you do certain things. But there are
Mhm.
different like traits. Like some people are projectors, some people are generators, some people are manifesting
Mhm.
generators, some people are manifestors. But there it in human design, it talks about a particular archetype of a person who creates in their mind, but they are not in alignment to bring that creation into fruition for long. It's like you create, you get it started, and then you continue along creation because that type of existence fills you up the most. And it is
Mm.
not a personal flaw, but it is a way in which that was what you chose coming into this world, that was the personality archetype. Yeah.
I could see that. I'm like a cloud. I don't know why
Yeah.
you started when you started naming the different archetypes. I'm like, I guess I would be like a cloud person. Like,
You should
comes
do
and
some
goes, and
research on the, because I feel like that would actually like take away all of that guilt too, because it's like I
it's hard though because the world functions does not function that way. It doesn't
yeah,
serve my type of personality. It serves commitment and long
discipline.
standing, yeah, discipline, and it doesn't serve like that kind of
That's
brain.
because it's
So
capitalistic.
it is. It
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
But if I guess if we were like nomads or cavemen era, or I don't know, some kind of era, well, I guess we wouldn't have the freedom to like do what we wanted to. We'd just be trying to survive. But anyways, I so yeah, it's kind of programmed me to feel guilty about, you're right, not being committed to long-term things or
Yeah.
jumping around to everything. Like oh, you're unstable, you're this or that. But But you're right, like, the older I get, though, the more I'm just honoring how I am,
Yeah.
and I work around that, and there's
Mhm.
ways to be successful with that personality too.
Correct. No, I definitely agree, and um I don't want you to feel, like, guilty, like, I there's nothing in me that feels slighted or, like and I wanna be perfectly clear with the audience because this feels like one of those traditional, like, YouTube breakup videos where, like, partners have been together. I just want you guys to
Uh,
know we're not secretly hiding, like, turmoil. We're not secretly harboring turmoil. When Paulina was pregnant with Paloma, I think we had a conversation similar to this actually. But I articulated to Paulina then and I meant it, and I'll re-articulate it now. I want you to do this through a space of feeling lit up. I don't want you to do this through a space of obligation. And I think that in when we talk about like Caribbean mysticism and when we talk about honoring the land and honoring, like divinity and energies or whatever, I think it would be unauthentic to be like, "No, Paulina, it's been 5 years, but we need to go on," like, it's been
yeah,
5 years of our lives, doing this, and it's just like, I honor that a person changes in 5 years. You went from living in a mobile home to owning your own home to going from 1 child to 2 children to now both children are in school. Time has passed. Like,
it's crazy to think of it that
yeah.
way. And you
Yeah,
too. You
yeah.
had a similar
We're different
journey.
people. Like, completely, I feel different people. And so I honor the fact that, like, it's been 5 years and it's
Yeah.
okay to dream of other things.
All I
And
can
I
say
want
is
that
that,
for you.
like, find a partner like Gabby, 'cause,
Oh, thank you.
this partnership has been, like, so you're just so forgiving, like, it's like she's so patient with my ADHD brain. She's like, "It's okay." She's like, "Just get this done, okay?" And I'm like, "Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I got it."
You know
But
why? Because you're always authentic to who you are. It doesn't feel like you're trying to, like, give me a slide of the hand and you're jumping off of this podcast to go do a competing podcast, like,
I
you're
think
you're
well,
very true to self.
I've been around for a while to where I used to kinda do things like that unintentionally, burn
Yeah.
bridges because I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't do this thing anymore. I wanna leave."
Yeah.
And, I realized, like, okay, you can be how you are, Paulina, but, like, do it with respect to the
Mhm.
other party. Like, don't just leave them hanging or, like, dump them without any kinda notice or just be honest. And you've given me so much respect throughout this journey. Like, I just wanted to kind of, um, give that in turn too.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, anyways, we're getting a little mushy here,
I know.
but
Yeah.
now, even though I'm gone, it's not to say that Kirby Mystics will not continue on because I know that Gabby and I were working on some things for the future
Yeah.
that will continue. So maybe you want to fill some people in about what's going to happen next.
Um, I can't go into too much detail, but we
Mm,
are and have been working on something that I think will be extremely transformative, for the brand as well as the personal life, um, finances and stuff like that. I will say that it's slow moving, like something like that without giving out too much detail is very slow moving and there's a lot of moving parts and there are a lot of things that can change very quickly. And so it's not something that I think I want to like divulge too much info about because it's just
really?
like
Okay.
because there's such a real possibility that it doesn't happen.
Okay, got
And,
you.
like I don't want to put something out there that isn't even remotely close to like being solidified. But I will
Okay.
say what people can expect with Caribbean Mystics moving forward is like I said, I have every intention of continuing. We have stories backlogged that we have not released. Um, Pretty incredible stories, if I do say so myself. Like I feel like I don't want to say the back end of season 4 because identified that next year, I guess, is season 5. But I feel like the back end of season 4, the or season 5 is going to be particularly powerful, in that the stories that we have are in and of themselves very impactful. And of course, we have those very big heavy hitters, and then we have these smaller stories, that leave, I think, a strong degree of wonder and bafflement. So that'll be coming the first week of January. Thursday is going to continue to be our regular day, that these get released. And the only thing I'll say is I ask that you guys give me grace in that some episodes, like the larger storylines, I'll definitely make time to do discussions for, and to check in with you guys regularly because I really love the community we've created. But the smaller episodes that have really impactful stories, but maybe don't necessarily need a discussion, you guys might be getting more of those episodes where it's just the story. But I will be here doing discussions as well. But just for the sake of my own ability to balance it all, I just don't want to bite off more than I can chew. But the idea is that we continue on with weekly episodes starting in January. The first week of January, I'll give you guys an exact date because I don't want it to be confusing because we're not doing anything. Okay, January 8th is going to be our first episode back. So come back. And I'll be doing the discussion solo for the time being. And they'll probably be quicker discussions. We're going to err on the side of mysticism a lot. I will try to channel my inner Paulina and bring out the skeptic points just for the sake of balance and integrity. Um, but yeah, like stay tuned with me as I go through, I think I will call growing pains in having to figure out some things.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
Well, maybe we can kind of do like a quick wrap up. I do want to ask you,
sure.
what was your favorite episode this season?
Whew. I feel like we had some really amazing episodes this season. I will say that our Halloween episode, The Hanged Man, was
Yeah, that was
probably for
good.
me the most. It really, like it did something, I think, to my heart. Like when I listened to it, you can't help
Mm,
but to feel a bit of like welding up of tears, because
yeah.
I thought it was so special and so well done and so well articulated, that you couldn't help but to have that evocative experience.
Mm, I agree. I liked that one as well. Um, the other one I also liked was, sorry, I'm looking at the episodes because I'm trying to remember them all because we had a
Yeah.
lot this season.
We did. I'm so proud of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we started in September. We're usually done by the end of, oh, my light just died. Okay. We're usually done by the end of October, maybe like the first week of November, and we have continued on.
Yeah.
Um and so I'm like super proud of us.
Oh, Villa Santana I actually enjoyed. I
It was
think
so
because
good.
there were so many off the wall experiences. It was so visually captivating to me. Like in my head, I just imagined this woman like dancing in the thunderstorm outside his window, and it was very like haunting
Yeah.
visual experience I had going on with those descriptions. And then the horse, like it's not often you hear about like um animal
Yeah.
apparitions. So a giant ass horse that his whole family was trying to get out is like really funny to me because I'm like, holy shit. Like, first of all, how'd a horse get in there? Second of all, people are like touching it, listening to it. It is like physically there and then
Yeah.
disappears. So
I'll say too, John is such a good storyteller. Like, even just, it was captivating listening to it, even without all the like editing and the bells and the whistles. He's
yeah.
just such a great storyteller, and he weaves together the historical detail and then the imagery. And so, like, the listener's experience is just so vibrant, and visceral. And I really enjoyed that episode. We didn't have a discussion for that episode, but a lot of the history of Villa Santana, I feel like, was
I was just about
enshrined.
to say,
Yeah,
yeah, I've never
John
heard of
offered
that
so
place.
much. Oh man, I used to pass it every day going to school because it's at the top of Garden Street.
Government. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like
I've never been to the
curious.
space.
No, me neither. So I was looking it up and I was like, who? Because he's like, oh, because it was built by Santana. And I was like, who's that? Because first of all, I'm like, Santana, like the
Mhm.
guitarist? No. But apparently
You're so
I
funny.
don't think it's Santana. I think we might have spelled it wrong. I think it's Santa Ana. Because
Ah,
I'm reading, well, it does say Villa Santana everywhere on the internet, which is
yeah.
really hard because it was founded and established by Mexican general and president Antonio
Mhm,
Lopez de Santa Anna around
mhm.
1850 to 1857, as his home during exile, offering panoramic harbor views, unique historical charm, and now it's a boutique lodging. So you can stay there if you're ever going to visit St. Thomas. You could actually stay at Villa Santana.
Yeah,
Maybe we
and
shortened
it's
it, but he went in exile? Now I'm even more curious.
yeah,
Like, what was he in
literally
exile
that
for?
I think he did something, was it like the Mexican American War? He may have been a top general in that, and then when things kinda fell apart, the US was probably trying to kill him, and so he came to the
Mm.
VI for exile because at that point in time, we were under Danish rule, um, and so he could have easily evaded capture by coming to the
Wow.
Caribbean.
We have been a safe haven for criminals since that long. Because
You
still to
know,
this day, y'all.
we had a lot of piracy here. So Port Royal, Jamaica gets the rap for being like the den of pirates, right? Where it was like the wickedest city in the world. The second largest, strongest, most, I guess, lucrative pirate hub was St. Thomas. And there was
Mm.
instances in Danish time where our governors were in cahoots with the pirates and they promised them safe haven in exchange for, of course, some of their riches and gold. And so it is, historically speaking, not too far off to assess former leaders as
Mm.
being below the board.
I mean, even to this day, like, okay,
Mhm.
I remember in high school, our old football coach was wanted by the FBI. And the only reason they found him was because the football team made a win and they featured him in a newspaper. Next thing you know, he's being carried off. Like, I kid you not, we grew up with people that were running away from something and most likely
Yeah.
crime. So it's interesting to hear it still happen. But I
Yeah.
did come across the general, when I looked up why he got exiled. It said he got exiled multiple times, primarily for
Mhm.
political instability, perceived incompetence, especially after losing Texas and much territory to the US,
Mhm.
corruption, and authoritarian actions. Huh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yo. Par for the course, apparently. Par for the course. I will say that I also really Rose's story was not a featured story, like, but her story was tacked on to our Alaska episode. And when I tell you that went viral on Facebook, like people to this day still like that reel
Mm.
where she's telling her story that we like used as promo.
Oh, yeah.
And people are still
Everyone's
there arguing in the
debating.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
They're
it's
like,
always so
"Oh."
interesting on social media, like what kind of goes viral and what people feel like super engaged by.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've had other reels that I'm just like, oh yeah, this is gonna do well. Like this is so crazy and interesting. Nothing.
No.
No, but like apparently a lot of sailors got wind of Rose's like sailboat episode and they were locked in.
Well, and if you're not familiar with that story, we posted at the end of the Luska episode, like Gabby said. But
Hmm.
in short, describes her 45-foot long sailboat suddenly coming to a halt mid-sail in the ocean. And describes it as like the brakes being pulled and the boat immediately stops, which is a bit bizarre. And she describes how her father tried to find like a fish pot or crab
Mm-hmm.
pots or anything that would be snagging the rudder, to no avail. And so when we posted that, of course, all the maritime people came in and were like, "Oh, it could have been a whale. That's very normal. This happened." Other people like, "No, that's not." So it did. It was a hoobala on Facebook. You're back. You froze for
Yes.
like a minute.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Rose's episode was super interesting. And I feel like our discussion, although we had it to the front of the story because we had just talked about Alaska, I found our discussion there to also be quite interesting, where we talked about how the ocean is a graveyard. And there are all of these like echoes of past
Mm,
things that have happened that continue to like reverberate in
yeah.
different parts of the ocean. But yeah, I feel like this season has been an incredible wealth of information and storytelling. And
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved doing this with you. And I'll also say that I felt like it was like our easiest season to produce. Like I feel like we just
Yeah.
fell into like a really great groove of having stories edited and this person doing this person doing this. Um and so it felt like
Well,
it moved well.
it did. I also think it's because the podcast industry is growing, and as it's growing, more software is coming out that
Hmm.
makes it so much more streamlined to edit. Like, do you remember how we first used to edit episodes? Like, oh
Garage
my God, how
band.
painstaking. Like,
Yeah.
I either through GarageBand or Logic, and I'd be like
Hmm.
m- physically moving the like audio waves
To
and
the
mixing.
second.
Dude,
Yeah.
and now, like, with all the different kind of software out there to record and edit, it's, it's saved so much time for us.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I also wanted to say, because we got an email from a young lady. I don't know her age. So, young lady, I'll go with, named Lolita. And she sent us a really, actually, it was such a beautiful email. She was basically talking about how conflicted she felt about us using AI for our episode Blood in the Soil. And that she noticed that a couple of our social media posts were also AI. And the reason why I felt like the email was really beautiful is she did such a fantastic job of um, expressing, like the hardship that AI is kind of like ravaging on the like creative world. Um, and it also allowed me an opportunity to kind of like clarify some things with her because I would hate for somebody to listen to our episode and have these like very strong feelings, especially if they love the podcast in general, but yet they feel this conflictedness around like the use of AI and the ethics around it. And so it gave me an opportunity to be able to, well, and I don't want to say clear the air, that sounds really strong, but like to explain our perspective. And I actually wanted to take a minute to like tell you guys that Paulina and I are super empathetic to the artistic community, the creative community, and the fact that AI is in a very quick way reshaping that community and the availability for work for people in these creative jobs and positions. When it comes to Blood in the Soil, we had to use an AI voice. The storyteller wanted to tell the story in her own words, but did not want her voice used. And so we utilized the AI voice because using an AI voice, the AI still captures the emotion of the storyteller. And so you could hear in her voice her confusion in certain parts, her her fair in certain parts while also getting to change her voice. And so in that particular story, it felt like the only option versus one of us reading it and it not being authentic to the emotion of the storyteller. And I'm going to be so honest, I don't know that that would be the last episode we use an AI voice on. And I'm just going to be super real because Paulina and I have to balance the anonymity of these stories and the storytellers. As it relates to our social media, we don't use AI imagery. I think we only did that for a couple of things because we were working on trying to figure out what the look would be. But we've since discontinued AI after a very short stint of using it in our imagery. So we just kind of use stock video and images off of various platforms. And the hope is that eventually we could engage artists and creatives to be able to create the imagery for our content, but we also can't afford them. And that's just kind of the dance that we've had to kind of figure out is all of the work falls on Paulina and I to get the podcast out, to have it out on YouTube, to have a Patreon running, to have social media moving. And so we have this balance of wanting to move the podcast forward while also being cognizant of AI. And it's not just AI's impact on creatives, it's AI's impact on the environment, right? And so I just want you guys to know that we are doing everything we can to support creatives. So, long story short, we don't use AI anymore unless we have a storyteller that actually does not want to share their voice. And then we have to use AI. And I have not found a way around that right now. And until I do, that's just kind of what it is. And I won't make a promise that I can't keep. Yeah.
And we so badly want to use artists, but again, like we just don't have the funds for artists,
Yeah.
for the pay that they deserve. So we've been working around that, and which is why we've been steering towards more like vintage photos, vintage videos,
Hmm.
and old footage of like the Caribbean, which I think
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed using that. Um, but yeah, only AI for the sake of AI will use the anonymous voice, even though like I hate AI voices because
Hmm.
there's like no soul behind the story.
Hmm.
But yeah, we
Hmm.
rarely use that. So
You know, when there's no soul behind the story when you don't have a human tell the story first, and then AI
yeah,
just mimic the voice, which is what we
that's
did with
true.
that story.
Yeah, that's why
Um,
it had a little bit more to it than the
yeah,
other AIs.
yeah. But if you had to have AI like read the story, no, it's gonna
Gosh.
sound really crazy.
And then a dark cloud came over me at
Yeah,
night, and it really
yeah,
scared the piss out of me.
correct. Exactly
Wow, you
that.
sound terrified.
Yeah. But I will, anyway, so I just wanted to really acknowledge Lolita because, like I said, her email and the way that she constructed it, it was actually really beautiful and very graceful and eloquent. And you can tell that she deeply cares and is possibly, I think, like the rest of us, worried about what AI is going to do to our future. Um,
Yeah.
but
If
other
it
than that,
helps, our
yeah,
network is also against AI. They're
yeah,
like, "No, no
no
AI.
AI.
Trust me,"
Yeah,
which is also why we've been backing up. But at the time, we wanted to use it because we're like, "We need visuals, and it's just the 2 of us."
yeah. And they were like, no. And by
But
then
we
we had
got you,
only created
girl.
like two. Yeah. So we got you, Lolita. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than I will be back January 8th. So mark your
Mhm.
calendars. And we will continue moving on and it will be season 5 because that's a great idea, Paulina.
Yeah.
And Paulina, it has been an incredible privilege to not just do business with you, but to also be your friend. And we didn't start this endeavor as friends. We became friends after starting this endeavor.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know that it has been an incredible journey with a lot of twists and turns and a lot of really life defining moments. And so I just want you to know
Same.
that I'm so grateful for you and for saying yes to this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you saying yes too. from the start. And you know what? Like I'm always having these crazy ideas and I might rope Gabby into another one. So maybe there'll be more coming from those that brought you Caribbean mistakes.
Yeah.
But you guys enjoy your holidays. Be
Happy
safe.
holidays.
Enjoy your family, your friends.
Yeah. And have a
And
spooky Christmas. No, man, let me stop. I hope your holidays are warm and joyful and bright.
with some spookiness.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Caribbean Mystics podcast.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to share with your family and friends. Like, follow, and subscribe to keep up with all of our spooky Caribbean content.
Do you have a story you'd like to share that took place in the Caribbean? Email us at caribbeanmysticspodcast@gmail.com. That's caribbeanmysticspodcast@gmail.com. Or check the show notes for more info.
Caribbean Mystics is created and hosted by Paulina, Creque, and Gabrielle Querrard. Theme song is Folktale Juve Rhythm by Umi Marcano.